I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about change management. And I want to kind of ask you, Dr. Hunter and Dr. Shams, to address this question as though you're speaking directly to the leader of an emerging biopharma, the CEO of an emerging biopharma who's making kind of big change management decisions. When biopharmas become, kind of late clinical age, it's definitely time for some change management as it relates to regulatory strategy and interaction and perhaps personnel. And I suspect that's why both of you were brought into your roles at the times that you were at your current companies. So Dr. Shams, let me start with you. What organizational or personnel changes, that is, or adjustments were required, and do you recommend a company at your stage be making to build a regulatory strategy?
Yes. So I think the issue has to do with what stage you are at and when do you want to make those changes. I think with ProQR, for example, is a good example, I guess. It is ready based where the programs are and everything else. It is ready to now really pivot or transition to a new phase as a company, I think. And so that's why you said it right. That's why I came on board and others have come on board at the company. And I think most companies probably go through this transition. And so the interaction that the company had early on before starting the development of products was a bit different and needed a different tool set, I guess. And now that we are getting closer to approvals, our first product should be getting some data early next year. It requires a new set of interactions with regulators. And the definition of a regulator also probably changes depending on which region of the world you're in. So in the US, it may not be as complicated, but in Europe, for example, there may be health technology assessments, that you need to develop some expertise, regulatory expertise. And vice versa, you may need some, CMS experts, who understand how the drug will be reimbursed or something like that. So the nature of that interaction, I think, changes a little bit from pure development to now becoming a commercial entity. And so we have to then adjust to that. We have to have the right people and the right talent set. And I think a lot of companies do that. And it's not cheap. It's very expensive. But that's the name of the game.
Okay. Yeah, Dr. Hunter, what about at REGENX?
Yeah, so like you said, I think that's one of the reasons why I was excited to join the company. And with my day-to-day, really working closely with our regulatory and our operations from early stage R&D through clinical, through manufacturing, to really develop that strategy across the full continuum is our goal. And really thinking about a fully integrated company from the soups to nuts, gene therapy conceptualization, vector manufacturing, all the way through commercialization. Another organizational change I can speak to is that both the regulatory VP and myself report to the Chief Operating Officer and the Chief Technology Officer. And so really aligning the day-to-day with our regulatory strategy. I think that's important, and that's part of my role and what I'm excited to do here.